Being self-employed and running your own business is incredibly challenging, but it can be hugely rewarding. But the unexpected can happen, isn't it? You set out with great intentions in the morning, customer delays, parts don't turn up, and you're late. And tonight's guest on the live stream is incredibly late. So in fact, it's dark. We expect them here at midday. It's now 5 o'clock, which means we've got a problem, because will he be able to do the Electricians challenge? Well, let's go and find out who we've got and what he's up to. Just watch I don't trip over the solar panels, which despite the huge bright light coming from that Luden Pellets Ollie floodlight, they're not generating much power at this time of night. Well, talking about power, we've got Powersonic and the famous Mark Allison, who's already on with the Electricians challenge. Is this run number 2?
Yeah, excuses are coming out already.
Oh, good. Well, tune in to see the excuses later in the show, because for the first time ever, because Mark was late, he's only had a chance to do 2 trial runs, so his 3rd run will be live.
Hello and welcome to our fortnightly stream. Whether you're watching it live or you're joining us on catch up, thank you very much for joining us. And we've got a great topic tonight about the secrets of becoming a self-employed electrician. But before we do that, let's get it over and done with. Let's thank the great people that allow us to keep the lights on, usually dim in my area, but for this live stream, we'd like to thank the great people at the Lasico Group. We'd like to thank Marshall to Flex. We'd like to thank Doncaster Cables, and we'd also like to thank Luden Palazzoli. So we don't need you this week, Gordon. You can come in later on with them all. It's great. So it's going to be exciting. When you've started us off there, we don't need to tease it. We've got Mark Allison. And which area of the building have we kept him in, Gordon?
He's in the green room.
We've got a green room. Let's have a look at our green room. Let's go to Oh, our first guest in the greens there with cola-based beverages. It looks like some Belgian chocolate biscuits that he's munching his way through. But he's under a bit of pressure, isn't he, Gordon?
He is, because, yeah, obviously Mark turned up late, which is, yeah, obviously when you book an electrician, you want them to turn up on time.
You do, absolutely want to
turn up late.
Yeah, and talking of electricians and maybe something they're doing, you're wearing a thermal jacket at the moment that I can see is buzzing away there with some heat, and I've gone for the full T-shirt. Why are you wearing a jacket?
I'll just put my Ad Resist smart shirt on as well. If you saw that a few weeks ago, that's going to bleep away. Obviously, I've been wearing this, obviously, because Rick obviously attempts to kill me on a regular basis, so I thought extra precaution there. But the Makita jacket, actually, Makita News.
Okay, Makita
I've seen it being teased out. Yeah, we've had the coffee machine, we've had the kettle.
Yeah.
On the way soon, microwave. Yeah, battery-powered microwave.
No.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah.
It must be just like a plate warmer. It can't be. You're not telling me we're going to be able to put a little bit of ginsters in there or other pasties you can buy, and we can get that thing piping hot before we finish our 15-minute tea break. Because I'd like to tell you now, if you use the percolated coffee machine, you couldn't make 2 cups of coffee in 15 minutes out of a battery in those, and I proved that.
I don't know whether it's a rumour, but I've seen pictures of people using Makita microwave. Not in this country yet, but we'll...
Got to be careful.
Stay tuned. Well, I want one.
You've got to be careful, because I heard a rumour of a 0.5mm squared cable and a 2-amp Type E breaker once, and that was a rumour and myth, I would suggest, on that one.
But they've done the fridge.
Yes, I have.
You know, we've had that, so the microwave's got to follow. We've got almost a full Makita site kitchen.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of batteries to power that, isn't it?
XGT range, they've stepped it up, so that battery you bought for the previous version, it doesn't work with this new one. That's tool companies have a habit of doing.
Absolutely do.
And we'll come back to tools later on, because we've got a new segment.
New segment? Who's starring in our new segment? Is it yours truly? Is it yourself?
Well, I'll just put it out there for people as we go through it, yeah? Just anyone in the comments who can remember a show called Home Improvement from years ago. It was an American show. Tim Allen was the main star. There was somebody else in it, but we're not going to say anything else.
Just for context, Tim Allen, wasn't he the voice of Buzz Lightyear? Is that, this was the show that launched him, was it?
Yeah, it was the show. Tool Time, so people might be able to remember that from a while. And obviously, if you want to get in the register, there's an early chance to get a comment in.
Right, yes.
Which means you're getting your name called out in the register. And if you ask a great question during tonight's live stream, you also get to win a prize as well. We'll pick one person at random, or Mark can pick them, depending on the question. So it depends whether you want to be kind to Mark or put them on the ropes.
Okay, so we want something about this home improvements, and we also like questions for the subject of the actual stream itself. So that secrets of being a self-employed electrician, which I would suggest is a minefield out there. So we're going to go through some of those, and who better than to have Mark Allison, who started that business up, and we'll hear all about his journey, as well as the journey where it ended up at Apprentice 1-to-1 as well. So I think we're going to go a little bit early, aren't we?
Well, yeah, because obviously Mark turned up late. He's had 2 trial runs on the wall. He's got a third. You've got to have 3 chances.
Yeah, you can't go away with 2, so that's not fair on anyone. We can't say, you know, you've got 1 left in the bag. So we're actually going to try
and do this live.
So we're going to introduce Mark by actually going live to the race one. There's going to be all kinds of issues here. It's the first time we've attempted it. We're going to have to move a few cameras around it in order to do it. So hopefully you'll bear with us as we go across. Let's go and say hello to Mark first, shall we? Yeah, so we're coming with a handcuff. Let's go and say hello to Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Evening, gents. Nice to be here and to meet you all in the flesh.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Someone you see on social media, and anyone who's not watching, obviously, social media, you can't avoid Mark. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. You're always in the comments, aren't you? You're always out there.
I like to participate, that's fair to say.
That's what we like, participation.
And that's also almost key to what we can see out the left corner of your eye there is participation. You've had a couple of attempts already. Would you say one of your attempts was better than the other?
Yeah, one was definitely better than the other. I like to give everyone an opportunity to snag my work, so I did that the second time out. Yeah. Rick was keeping his close eye on me and I made a bit of a pig's ear of it, to be totally honest.
Right, okay, so you've still got the third attempt in there, in the bag, so we're just going to move a camera around now in order to get face cam into position. So if we just take the camera off there, so we're going to, not technical issues, these are things. Now, where do you think you put your time at? Where do you think you lost time on that second run?
Not getting it stuck in the tube would be a good start, and getting it straight up into that trunking, I think, will save me about 2 minutes.
It's amazing because the amount of people that think it is, it's seconds, and people get stuck and stuck and stuck, and I think, oh, it's an hour and a half that I've been pushing it up there. It's just that panic, is it? And sometimes it's the classic case of slower is faster.
Yep.
Okay, and just going through there. And I would suggest on your second run, slower was slower.
Yeah, it was definitely slower. I don't sell myself on speed though. It's all about the quality. I didn't really offer that either, to be totally honest.
Right, so it's not a good starting your business up. So your motto is, I'm slow and poor quality.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why you employ people who aren't those things.
What was it they used to say? I'm expensive, but I'm also rough, and I'm also slow, isn't it? It's
that's
the
pretty
classic
much how it goes, yeah. That's how it works.
Enough excuses, we're ready.
Okay.
You're live and you're up. Good luck, Mark.
Let's get stuck in.
First. We'll see how this goes. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, Mark.
Yeah, maybe 20.
So obviously before we go into there, it is a chance for you to win as well. Second chance to win a prize. Gary, we're going to sit on here for a while.
Okay, yeah, can do. Yes, I can join you here.
On the good side. Yeah, there is a chance to win a prize. So you can bet on Mark's time. How fast will he finish this challenge in minutes and seconds? Now, we're going to take his best time, which is I'm a bit nervous when you're doing that.
Well, that's why I don't normally get to sit this side, do I?
I know, I tell you. So before I get completely distracted by Gary touching my knee in a sort of creepy way, yeah. So you can win. Mark's best time in minutes and seconds will win a prize. Now he has had 2 attempts. We will take the best one of those. So even if he does horrendously badly on this, which we're obviously hoping for your entertainment and our entertainment, then we will go off the fastest time. So we could have hoodwinked you. So are we ready?
We're ready for our first ever live, and thank you very much for Mark for being that contestant.
I think we're going to go picture in picture.
Oh, are we? We're going to pop into a corner. Oh, look at this. We've got some new stuff. Leave him alone for 5 minutes. There he is. He's all excited. So here we go.
Are we coming in, Rick? He's off.
Okay, so we're off. So we're into the socket outlet, in with a flat-headed screwdriver. There's no need to rush. You've got plenty of employees that can do this bit for you. And
Mark is using the house tools here. He didn't bring his own, which, will that cost him time? So obviously, they do say some people get promoted out of trouble, Gary. You start a business and then people sort of try and get you off the tools as quick as possible.
Absolutely, and probably that's the classic case of that self-employed person quickly employing a few more people to move themselves up the chain where you don't get your hands a little dirty in the mornings.
Yeah, but Mark does assure us he is still on the tools, but we'll see.
We'll see. Only time will tell. So.
It's getting in there. So.
Did anyone tell him it was a race?
Yeah.
Here we go. So, how would it go?
Here's where it can go horribly wrong.
Okay, so
he's gone for the tape.
Gone for the tape, yeah. So he's using our tape and our tools. Okay, so there's a person not want to waste their own materials. So here we go. He hasn't straightened it. He needs a bit of luck now. Oh, he's had a lot of luck. So he's going to be up the conduit and round Lasico Bend. So here we go, round Lasico Bend and into the Ludum Palazzoli board as he takes on the Electricians challenge. He's trying to beat non-electricians as many as there are electricians on the board.
Hold on, Gary, we'll just stop there a minute.
Oh,
I'm thinking that carpet by the fireplace.
I'm thinking lots of foot traffic.
Yeah, lots of foot traffic, worn a hole in the carpet.
I think it's time to put down there a little half rug, isn't it? Just sort of cover it up a little bit.
Cover it up, yeah.
Yeah.
We always had one of that now, so with the coals dropped on the carpet and burned the hole, we had to cover up. So, yeah, definitely happening there.
It's got those steely eyes. I don't think we got face cam in, so we're going to have to go for the steel. Oh, we have. Oh, there it is.
There's some sausage fingers there.
Okay, yeah. So for the ladies watching it, yeah, there is a gold band there. You can't move in on young Mark. So in with a look of that for a shot. So we're popping it in there. What was his mass stabs rating for his?
I think we're on a 3, between a 2 and a 3. Actually, I'll have to send that to adjudication when I see Abel next to just check on the menu on that. Mark's top trump will be coming out in the morning.
Yeah, so we do a top trumps card now. So if you want to come along and do the race wall, you get a T-shirt, you get a top trump card as well. Oh look, he's dressed in the board. Oh come on, Mark. Yeah, that's you're on the telly. You didn't do it earlier. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what he does with the CPC. Is he going to go long and then cut again? Yeah, so we're out those snips again. So that's it. There we go. Here we go. So we're only 3 connections away, really, from completion.
JB here.
Yeah, he's going to do a JB. Yep. He's going to split those in order to make those connections. He's quite concentrated, though, isn't he? You wouldn't want to fall out with him.
We thought we'd be able to put him off.
Yeah.
But he's actually, I think he's been hoodwinking us this afternoon.
You wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of Mark, and we might come up with that, won't we? He's a big fan of Twitter. You know, everyone likes a comment, don't they? Yeah. I'd imagine you wouldn't want Mark to be commenting in your DMs, would you? If you've made a mistake. He's finally smiling now, isn't he? Yeah, finally got a little bit. Notice how we've turned the half rug slightly round a little bit. So we're on the other side now, aren't we?
Yeah. See the trainers now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gone in with the old trainers.
Right, here we go. This is where. Don't do this.
We backed him off miles. I mean, it's only a 2.5 you got to get in. That's another mistake. I think you should open and close at the same time. I think once it goes in, you shut it. Yeah. But I think people have been learning from Rick. Rick's often putting people off trying to get 6.5 minutes. Isn't it? Is it a good time? You've looked across?
Not doing too bad actually at the minute. It's just pretty good.
Got a 7.
We obviously tell people we do edit it down normally.
Yeah, so this is live
so
time.
So far, there wouldn't need to be much editing, but it can go wrong here. Where's the screws? I can see them on the top of the box there. Yeah,
it's a good position to leave them. This BG socket, I think it's only the second one we've ever used on the race wall. It is an absolute marine of sockets, the amount of times it's been on and off. Do you think an outlet would normally be fitted once and left, wouldn't it? It's been on, off, on, off. Here we go.
With a screwdriver.
Fingers instead.
Just get them tight there.
They're big hands, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So we're one in. So 1 screw away from finishing. This looks like it could be a reasonable effort. So here we go. Come on, Mark. Let's not slip at the last challenge. You notice how he pushed away the old little Nick Ramo there in the corner.
In the background there, Nick Ramo.
Yeah.
So
here we go. So
good.
There we go. And the final screw is in. Here we go.
Well, that was good.
It was good. I mean, that was good. That was a decent effort. That was a decent effort. So we're going to bring him in now.
It is time to welcome Mark
Allison. Our first ever one live on the race wall. What have you been up to, Mark? Anything good?
Yeah, good evening, gents. A bit of a stitch-up, I think, to be honest. To end up for a coffee and end up doing race wall.
Yeah, trying to turn up late and avoid doing the race wall, you see.
Busy day out on the tools.
Left me tools at home. Notice he didn't have his tools out on the tools, but didn't bring them with him.
No, a busy day, didn't have any tools. Yeah, had a van, no tools.
It's the extra work carrying the tools up here. I've got to save fuel.
Yeah, it's good thinking. Yeah, but amount of people, and also you wouldn't want to leave them overnight, so you might as well get them out to start with. So we brought you on. We thank you ever so much. Let's give it a little bit of context to where we are in relationship with Mark. We feel like we've known you for 3 years. We've never actually physically met, and you were the inaugural winner of our Person of the Year. And we will get to that at some point in the show of how the whole package, which is Mark Allison, was awarded that award in association with Vargo. And we was as proud to see you win it, hopefully, as you were to receive that award. And when you hear the reasons why Mark won it, I don't think many people are going to hold a candle to that. But our theme is about, obviously, venturing into the world of being self-employed, okay? And it's something you've done. But can you just give us a bit of context to how you started your career before you got to obviously working for yourself, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, started off as a trainee electrician back in 1997 myself, and then spent maybe 7 years or so working for a couple of different companies. So we was doing stuff around mobile comms and the submains around some of those kind of things. And then I moved off into electronics, working in the security industry with the Ministry of Defence and United States Air Force.
A bit worried there, Mark, first. I thought you said security, and so I had visions of 4-core white cable getting slung in.
Round door frames and skirting boards.
With a stapler.
No, I would only do that on a weekend. But as time moved on, I always had that desire, I think, to want to work for myself and be my own boss. It was always there in the back of my mind. And then when my dad passed away in 2005, that was kind of the push over the edge to try and set that into motion, I guess, to try and make something of my own life in my own name.
Wow, yeah, so you know, on around an event that was obviously very difficult for you, obviously personally, and I imagine it's something you carry, but we all do, don't we, as we carry it forward as we lose someone so important in our lives. So now you've almost, you sort of that grown-up approach to everything, you've built yourself a set of skills that you personally now think can be transferred into working for yourself. And I know what people do is they tend to try and get a lot of work built up already and get that back catalogue of stuff. So when they do make that leap, it doesn't seem quite as dangerous or as scary as it can be because you've got, say, several months' work going forward. How much work did you have when you started?
Pretty much none whatsoever. I was probably the atypical worst-case scenario of somebody starting out in their own business, but it's actually really common from doing Apprentice one-to-one and speaking with lots of employees. It seems to be a natural journey that lots of small companies go on and one-person companies. And I took those steps just the same as anyone else, learnt from my own mistakes and worked to where I am today.
So jumped with next to no work. Okay, so obviously I imagine it's connections you've already got to start with. Is that where you go? Is it sort of like recircle back into what you're used to and familiar with to start with?
Yeah, so subcontracting for people who I'd made links with earlier on in the other roles I'd had. So I was working for British Telecom and onto some of the Ministry of Defence assets that I'd contracted with my prior employer. And that kind of led me to be more busy than I was when I was employed, which was kind of not the purpose of the exercise. But it's one of those, again, it's like not knowing how to maybe market yourself in the local area and build a customer base from nothing. You're not taught those things in college. And if you don't get that experience from other people in your network or around you, you only really learn it from trying it. And that's what happened. It's just been a natural journey ever since then, to be honest. I'm still learning today. I'm far from a guru or an expert on these things. I've just got the scars of the past to kind of guide me as I am now.
Yeah. So you sort of went subcontract really first, and then sort of self-employed subcontractor. So you
yes.
Sort of, that's a sort of an easier stepping stone. But then obviously you start leaving that behind. You've got to win your own business, really, don't you, from scratch? And
you do. And the world was different back in 2007, 2008, where now a lot of it's all online, and you've got social media to really help you. I mean, that does an incredible thing for people who are in business now, using those networks and YouTube as well. But back then it was stuff like Yell and local magazines and spending money in places that turned out to be a bit of a waste of time. It's just learning from mistakes, really.
You didn't call your company A111111 Electrical Services to get the front of Yellow Pages.
It would have been a sensible thing, but it was actually named by Matthew and Nathan, who now work for me, after Power Rangers and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, so that is classic.
It wasn't a very good marketing move in hindsight, but it's through the company from the very start.
I can't believe I didn't know that, and that makes so much logical sense. Oh, wow, thank God they weren't massive Teletubby fans. So, as it could have been, you're the Tinky Winky of the electrical industry.
Might have fit
I apologise there, because it's already a height connotation in that one. So
have we got a time in, Rick?
We've got time.
Too far?
Yeah, but
Slippers a time over here.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, right, okay.
We've got lots
single
of times
digits.
in.
Right, okay, we're going to pause events. Oh, don't show it to the camera. Wow, is that in minutes?
Yeah, well, Mark, just looking behind you at the old at the leaderboard there, is there many people you recognise on there?
There's a fair number of people I recognise. Richard Brook, definitely.
Yep.
He's someone. Eddie as well, he's in there. Craig Gifford, lots of people. I just want to make sure I get ahead of Rick, to be honest.
Oh, let's have a look.
That's normally an easy one. That's
I've got a bad back, and look at Richard's right down here at the bottom.
He is close to the bottom down there, isn't he?
625.
I'd like to be above that.
Above Rick. Well, Mark, we can tell you actually it is better than your ones this afternoon.
Good.
Which is great under that pressure.
A long
Mark
way.
is a man who works under pressure.
Did he knock
faster.
up 60 seconds off, did he?
It is. So it is. He's done this in. So it is 4 minutes. So you're not quite in Richard Brook territory, but you are pretty close. You're actually 4 minutes and 6, which puts you 1 second above Damien Eden, who is also off the tools now. But there you go. We'll take that claim later. So that's a good result. You're in electrician territory.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a respectable score. I'll take that as.
But that is also a first because that is the fastest time live on the channel.
Absolutely.
So there you go, so you're number one in that slot.
number
So
one.
when anyone else does it live, they've got to go 4:06, was it? Yeah, we left it on the board, so I imagine people got a sneaky little look at that one. So obviously we'll be trawling through those times to find out if we've got the closest time in order to do that. And of course, if you put a time in, it means you automatically obviously gave a comment, so you'll be then picked up in the register as we go through. So we're at a point then, so we're going to start building that business. We're going to branch away maybe from the subcontractor. So it then becomes, we're going to need to take somebody on. Okay, so who was your first employee, Mark?
That would be my brother, kind of a very ad hoc basis. So he came and do weekends work with me here and there. We used to do quite a bit of pat testing, so he'd come off and help me out here and there while he was between jobs. And it was really just the extra pair of hands more than anything else. A lot of people who are growing businesses from working from themselves, that tends to be how it goes. You just need someone to help you get stuff from A to B while you're doing jobs. And that was the first step into employment.
So was that when pat testing had really sort of taken off? It was a big thing, wasn't it?
It was a massive thing at one time. I mean, you used to be able to charge a lot of money for pat testing. You wouldn't believe it now.
Were you pricing per appliance or per project?
It was per appliance back then, and it was actually in the pounds figures rather than the pence.
Yeah.
It's a much different game now.
Yeah, I had a friend who did that, and it was he priced per appliance, and he was doing a bank, and then discovered the cupboard where everyone had brought appliances in from home, hair straighteners, hair dryers, stuff like that. And so,
Went through them all.
yeah,
absolutely.
well, they're in the building, so
Yeah,
we did the
absolutely.
lot.
Yeah,
It's got a plug on it, get it tested. Exactly.
So you've got somebody working alongside you. It's always a concern to me that obviously the things you said earlier on that we're not good at is the things in the office side of it, isn't it? That's where you're probably going to need some help. So you've got all that building up, you've got to answer the phone, you've got to do all that paperwork and stuff. Did you ever consider taking anyone off in that role?
Yeah, I mean, my wife's come to work in the business as well. She's a business partner more than an employee, to be totally honest.
Inland Revenue would like to know that.
Yeah, she's far more qualified in business matters than I am. In fact, you'd be better speaking to her than you are me. But yeah, she took care of all of that, lots of the admin and accounting side of things, and answering the telephone, dealing with customers, all the stuff that can really tie up a lot of your time as a tradesperson. You know, freed all that back up for me to go and make productive use of.
But with her skill set, that actually matched her skill set. So she was from that environment. So that's lucky, because a lot of people who are tradespeople take on a significant other, okay, into the office role, and maybe spend a lot of time in those early days actually still answering those questions that the significant others aren't asking, because they're not got the skill set, whereas your wife has.
Yeah, she's fully qualified accountant and expert in business matters, so I can trust her judgment and things in those matters more than my own. So that's what you want in people you're employing at the end of the day. You employ people to do a job role and a task rather than, you know, have to tell them what to do every 5 minutes.
And you said about, obviously, you learnt the mistakes of trying to build a business off Yale and things like that. So what did work for you? So as people are watching this and they're thinking of starting their own business, what things in those early days worked? They've probably changed now, but what did you stumble into that increased your chances of winning contracts?
A lot of it was just doing a good job and getting word of mouth around customers. So you'd have initial inquiries coming through from some of those local magazines that you'd put yourself into, and then they tell friends and family, and it just kind of spirals from there. And it was very early days with Google search as well, so we did a lot of that, paid advertising with Google to get some of the top results in the local area. When you're new to an area and everyone's got established brands they're already familiar with using, you've got to kind of break a few barriers and get yourself known. And I made lots of mistakes along the way doing that, like anybody else starting out. So we had issues where we're pricing things up and not quite doing it right. And all of the gremlins tradespeople go through, I've got that t-shirt. I'm not an expert from the beginning. I think you've got to go on that journey when you are running your own business. You know, just make the mistakes and learn from them as you go. Try not to be too catastrophic. It's my best advice.
And we had this discussion, didn't we, about negotiating with yourself. Have you been electrocuted?
No, I don't. It could be.
Still with us.
Okay.
Probably because my phone's a camera. Yeah. I've been sat still for too long.
Oh, right, okay, that doesn't, yeah, it says it all, doesn't it, folks? Says it all. So we've gone through that process then. So we're building that business up. We've got these things are working or not working, and obviously now social media is a massive help, and we'll mention that as we go through. So your brother came in and out of the business, or did he stay with the business?
No, he wasn't there for very long, so he was only kind of ad hoc between his job roles. It was kind of me helping him out, him helping me out. It was after that when I employed my cousin, where he would come.
Whoa. Hang on a second, just going to write a note down here.
I'm drawing the family tree as we're going.
Yeah.
We've got the brother, we've got the wife. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so if I'm related to you, I'm in with a chance.
You are, definitely. We're looking for a new apprentice. If you're in the bloodline, then you've got a fighting chance. No, John came in.
Yeah.
John came in and he was working with us on a more regular basis, and he did a really good job. He's a fantastic kid. And after that, we had Matthew.
So, well, let me get this one then. So Matthew will be related to you?
He is, of course.
Oh, of course he is. He's in the family.
He's my
tree.
actual son, so he's even more directly related to me. And there's no escape for him now. He's kind of the driving force behind the business on a day-to-day basis. Through the course of Apprentice 1-to-1, I very much took a back step into the coalface aspect of doing the job, I guess, and I was more office-based for other factors as well. And he really stepped up and did a fantastic thing through that 2-year period. And now, you know, not just is he a good electrician, he's a very good business person as well, I think, in the making. He's only 24, soon to be 25. And he's keen to get into all these exciting things to do with solar and battery storage and renewables, and that's the direction we're going.
And it was nice because the eFIXX Awards 30 under 30, which is closed now, isn't it, Gordon?
Yes.
We had a little extension on it. It has closed now. Now, Matthew was recognised as one of those inspiring, up-and-coming, very talented young electricians under the age of 30. And you've just reiterated, even though you're his dad, but you have reiterated in that short space of time, haven't you? Because he's just finished his qualifications. He's running your team now. And like you said, he's got a great business acumen. They're the sort of people that those awards need to recognise. And that's a great sponsor from our main sponsor here on the live stream, which is Lasico Group, have put themselves behind that, haven't they? Yeah. To try and draw out those talented young people. Because without them, we haven't even got an electrical industry, have we?
No, exactly that. There is a massive shortage of people coming into the industry as a whole as it is. And certainly younger people tend to get a bit of a bad rep, I think, sometimes. So it's great to see where they are successful. And the awards that you do at eFIXX, I think they're absolutely brilliant. I'm not the only person to say that. You know, in the community of people I network with on social media, we're all big fans of those awards. I think it's a great new initiative that's come forward that anyone can enter and put themselves forward in an exciting new category of awards. So full credit to you guys for doing that.
Yeah, well, that's what it was all about.
We're looking forward to getting stuck into this, yes. And a few comments have come in. Obviously, people said your wife is actually the boss. That was the that was the one from the UK Spark there as well.
Rick knows.
Yeah, and PAT testing is now referred to as in-service testing.
It is, yeah. I think it's going to be one of them. Even I'm going to struggle to turn it back. Yeah, so it's always been PAT testing, in-service testing. Yeah, so change the name of that one for us, just to make it a little bit more. As I went to dwelling installer because a domestic installer. Yeah, so I'm going to struggle with all these things. So we've collected as many family members as we can. eFIXX have given many family members as you've got as we can awards. So take it. We'll be giving out, I don't know, best lady in the office, and cousin of the year. Yeah, like cousin of the year award. That'll be a good one, won't it? eFIXX cousin of the year.
What happens when you run out of family, Mark? Is that the business? That's it.
This is it. Jack's 11 now, so there's a bit of a window before he's employable legally. So it's open to other applicants now as well as family members.
And you're talking to that. Are you considering taking on somebody else?
I think so, yeah. We're kind of at that position now where we're building up the work volume, and a lot of that is through stepping out onto social media. So I have tried to encourage other people to do the same because I've got great benefits from that, doing YouTube and doing the stuff on LinkedIn that I get involved with. It has generated business and helped me grow and develop. And I was pushed forward through that with Sam, Rick and Neil, so I've really got to thank those guys. So Neil Bridgman, Sam McDowell and Ricky Howell, they really did help me with confidence. I would never have sat and done something like this with you guys if it wasn't for meeting those three blokes.
Wallflowers, we call them, really. They're just sort of, you don't really hear much from them, do you?
They're quiet as a mouse.
Yeah, they never really get involved in the fray on social media.
Never give their opinions.
Don't give opinions. Yeah, they sort of coached you into it, and you've sort of, that's good.
And you touched on one there that some people might be watching this and may not be that familiar with, LinkedIn. Okay, just explain why that was such a massive benefit to your business.
It was just generating work, really. To start with, it's networking around kind of decision makers, I would say. So you had a lot of what people might term professional people. So it's those in management roles, certainly in commercial environments, and just from kind of getting involved in some of the discussions there, you pick up working relationships with people. So it wasn't really active marketing, I guess, in the traditional sense. But then when they come to the point in time where they need an electrician or they need something testing and inspecting, you're the first name that crops to their mind, and at the very least they're asking your advice, and that kind of gives you that relationship, so you're not pitching cold, if you like. It really is a great platform for building a business. I definitely recommend any electricians, because like you say, most will be on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn's kind of forgotten about. Get yourself on there if you want to get into the commercial workspace. It's a goldmine.
But even not just commercially, because obviously people who, if their own businesses, they tend to be on LinkedIn, and they also have their own, obviously, they have a house to live in, isn't it? And we often see on EVs particularly, if there's an EV being installed at home and you've got a business, you'll probably be putting one in there as well.
Yeah. And talking of home, you started, didn't you, in that domestic sector, and then you branched out from it, because I think that's probably the safest place really to start, isn't it, with only yourself and whichever family member was available on a Wednesday in order to work alongside you. So you started off in that domestic sector, and you've gone to spread out a little bit from there, though, haven't you? You do some commercial work, etc.
Yeah, we get involved with all sorts. So we've done programmes for local schools. We've been around different schools in our East Yorkshire area, fitting out EV charge points. We've worked for commercial customers down in London. We've done stuff in Canada One, in Canary Wharf. So we really have got involved in some quite interesting installations over the years. And it is just the way things go. As you get to know more people in industry and you develop your confidence. I think confidence is a big thing, kind of pitching yourself. Like you said, it's easy in a domestic environment to kind of market yourself in a local area. But when you're pitching to a big corporate client, it can feel very intimidating. When really they're just people. It's just a confidence thing, I think.
So if we look at, so the business is going really well in that. So what people are always worried about, so now all of a sudden you've got to get your own money in to pay your own salary. You've now got to pay other people's salaries before your own, which is always a classic, isn't it? So you've got 3 mortgages to pay before you pay your own, was the one that I always find difficult to sort of keep in your own mind. And it is a big one. It's the biggest fear probably of ever starting out on anything is not getting paid.
Yep.
Have you got any stories you'd like to share with us, maybe the way you haven't got paid as a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of electricians went through it with the EV grant process at the domestic sector. There was an issue with HMRC paying out quickly enough. You'll have seen a lot of discussion on that, especially on Twitter. We went through that as well, ran into quite large figures in the end. And then other smaller commercial works, you will occasionally have a client that goes under. So they fail in their business and they aren't able to then pay you, especially if you're on 30, 60, even 90-day payment terms. So it can get a bit of a pain. You do have to factor that in. So bad debts when you're running your business, you always have to have a bit of a contingency there to cover off against that. But you wouldn't really expect that from HMRC, to be fair.
And it was, you told us the number off camera.
Yeah, I won't repeat it now, but it's a lot of money.
A substantial number, yeah. It's one of those ones. And you say cover it, so that sort of not concerns me, but you're almost like your first year, you've got to get your tax sorted out. I know they give you 2, don't they, or whatever it is, but you've got all that problem to work out your taxation, and then you've got to build in a buffer in case you fall ill. You've got to build in a buffer in case you don't get paid. You can see why so many people sort of very, nervous about starting this process. The rewards are probably fantastic. Okay, I imagine when you're in a lovely position, that is fantastic, but that's not day one, is it? It's not week one, it's not year one, is it, as we move forward? No,
there's ups and downs to it as well across the passage of time, so you're not riding that upward wave all the time. It will vary as you're travelling along the trajectory of running your business, and I've certainly had that. You know, if you're looking out into industry, there's some really successful people who've done massive jobs building businesses. Neil's one, there's Stuart Starkey, Daniel Haley, the guys at Citrus. They've built really big and successful electrical contracting firms. I'm nothing like that. So I wouldn't like to preach at people what they should and shouldn't be doing, but there are, expectations where you do have to cover off budgets, where you're going to run out of money from time to time. As you've said, paying people, that's the most important thing, to pay your staff members, pay your suppliers, and try and keep on an even keel with that. And cash flow is king when you're trying to keep on top of all that.
And you're the last person to get paid yourself. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's times when I've done this and I've not paid myself for several months, and that'll probably happen again in the future, I'm sure, when big tax bills come in and things happen. That's just the way it goes when you run a business. Often they see the big contracts you win and the success that's perceived, but there are struggles for that for every person who's running a business out there from time to time. That's the reality. But as you said, there's loads of upward benefits to it all. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've learned so much doing it. It's great.
Did anyone give you advice when you started out? Obviously, that tax thing is where a lot of people slip up, isn't it? You spend the VAT money.
Yeah.
And it's not under the corporation tax, and that's the cash flow, isn't it? It suddenly sneaks up on you.
It is. You can miss those things quite easily. And I spoke about that with Neil recently when we were talking about VAT. It used to be easy to stay under the VAT radar when you were contracting, but now we've all seen the cost of everything. Even if you're just going to kind of trade in the domestic market, it's really difficult to keep yourself under that VAT threshold now. So you do have that tax complication as people see it. But really, that's not that scary or daunting, the VAT. It's actually like a 20% discount and everything once you get your mindset into it. It is a bit of a hassle on the paperwork, which is why you should always use an accountant. Don't do it yourself. I think electricians are the worst for that. So we don't like people messing in our game, but we're quite happy to dabble in everything else.
That's a classic. Nothing else. Remember that one-liner as we move forward. Yeah, brilliant.
So yeah.
That's right. And you were fortunate enough again because you had one at home.
Exactly. I had an expert sat on the couch at home who could help me out, so I was very lucky.
Unbelievable. So what's the biggest moment of working for yourself that you stood there and you took a deep breath, you stepped back and thought, wow, that's why I did this. This is why I'm self-employed. This is why I'm doing this.
I mean, in terms of the projects, I would say it was probably the EV installs we've done over the last summer. But the overall thing was training Matthew and now Nathan. So seeing them be successful in their training and come out of their time as qualified electricians, I don't think there's a better satisfaction than that. You're giving somebody a trade and a skill for life that they can use. That's the best thing I've ever done in my employed work career.
And that just sums you up in almost, one paragraph, I would suggest there, that it wasn't about personal achievements to yourself, it wasn't about a big contract you won, it wasn't about maybe getting that biggest deal of your life, it was actually about giving back and seeing the progression of somebody else. And I think that is an absolute mark against mark, as we would say, that, that's a proper big tick for me. And what a great bloke you are, Gordon.
We'll just take a little break because we've got a lot of people on, Gary. So quick time for...
Should we have the register?
Quick look at the register.
Let's go to Rick with the register.
One thing you'll notice is...
Yeah, they're not ready.
We've now got seats.
Yeah, and they're sitting down, they're not ready. Yeah, bring themselves in. Get up, Rick.
There we go, red seats.
Well, yes, we have had some technical issues because the code isn't working for getting people's names, so we'll have our first go of this. The technical difficulties graphics. Is that from the channel? So I've been writing them down, so I'm sorry if I've missed anyone, but we have got Socket, Matt Marine, Ant Keeping Rushton, Intrusive, Carl Robson, Sean Dempsey, Gavin Geaney, Dan Sparky in Training, Aaron, Early Years Learning is Fun, Stuart Cato, Billy Torrey, Paul Greeley, Seaport Servant, Ollie, Terry Moore, James Kane, Richard Cockerline, see what I start getting out Tom Dickinson, Stuart Dubois, Marky D, Chris Osmond of Sparky, Merrick Baba, Sergio Fernandez, Liberato Del Greco, the UK Spark, James Layton and the Information Torpedo, Dave Noble, Darren Cranis, Rusco Customs, Starburst, David Dutchman, Alan Chan, Theo Webster, DAE and Craig Buist. We have got the GTE time in, we'll reveal it later, so stay on.
Oh,
that was good. That was a lot of people.
A lot of writing. No wonder it was frantically going over there. I thought, I'm going to have to say be quiet in the wings in a minute. So thank you ever so much for everyone who's joined us today. Whether you be new, we normally would shout you out if you're a new member to the live stream. Unfortunately, we've had a technical issue on that, so a bit of coding didn't work for us. And we've done the best we can on the register. Thank you very much. Got a lot of people on.
Yeah, we've got Darren Cranis on there, so he's the ECA. Esteemed for his pink shirts, but yes, role reversal, because I spent most of this morning listening to Darren online chair a meeting, and now he's listening to us. Everywhere, so we'll try.
I'm sure he was more technically.
But he did say pass on his regards.
Oh, that's not so.
I like Darren, he's a top guy.
Yeah. And great to see so many regular viewers in there and a few new ones as well.
Have we got any questions in there that you've seen on the way through that you maybe want to pick up? It gives me and Mark a little breather.
Hold on, what are breathers? Well, no, but I'll talk about, competition, then we'll go to competition, yeah. How do you deal with, have you got local competitors, Mark? Is it a friendly neighbourhood in the Driffield area, or is it?
It's, to be fair, yeah, we're okay. I'm okay.
You're okay? Competition, local people think, oh, I'm going to win that job because he's not very good?
Not so much in Driffield, no. I'm friendly with all the local Sparks.
All right, further afield, where's the furthest job you like to operate to?
Probably Hull and York.
Hull and York, yeah. Bit of money in York.
Yeah. Not so much in Hull.
Not so much in Hull. Yeah, there we go. So there we go.
The beautiful south was from Hull, they were from York.
Yeah, so you probably summed it up, yeah. And are you specialising in something now?
We've been specialising in EV, I would say, over the last year or so, but we're involved in all sorts. We're doing basic domestic jobs all the way up to commercial industrial installs.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to that EV and what that leads to next. But speaking of competitions, Gary, we have got a competition.
Have we got a competition?
We have launched a competition this week.
Oh, right.
We've got a graphic for it.
Oh, we're going to bring in a graphic for a competition. I'm excited. I don't even know what this is. You've sprung this one on me, so I can't talk for much longer before I need the graphic. So you've sprung this one on me.
There we go. So this is in association with Marshall Toughlex. So that guy there is about to leap out of an aeroplane.
Right.
So if you undertake the Marshall Toughlex Dado Trunking CPD that we put out a few weeks ago, and your one lucky winner will be drawn out from the people who complete that CPD and pass it, and you could win a Virgin Experience Day. of which one thing you could be getting thrown out of an aeroplane.
Oh wow, I'm glad because there's two people on this couch that wouldn't want to do that, and Mark is one of them.
Yep.
Okay, and I would be the other one.
Well, you're in luck, Gary,
Go on then.
because I've done the CPD, and I put your name in it. And we're going to choose. We're going to choose your prize.
I couldn't think of anything worse. Could you, Mark? Are you a big fan of heights?
I hate heights. You're not going to get me on an aeroplane, even a set of steps. I get scared.
You refuse to grow above 5'6". You were that scared of heights, weren't you?
Exactly.
Absolutely. So no, it wouldn't be one for. We don't have to choose that. So there's probably race days and all kinds of.
There's loads of things you can do. I think you can have a spa day, Gary.
Oh,
or something
lovely. That
like
sounds
that.
good.
But all you have to do to win is complete the CPD. If you've already done it,
You win.
You're already in for a chance to win it. So there's a lot of people, obviously regular viewers, they're always in there.
So you could, what you could do then, if you've already done it, this would be how I was. I want more raffle tickets in there. You could perhaps use the significant other in your life's email address, couldn't you? And bash through it again, couldn't you? You could. You mean that's? I'm suggesting that you might have 2 or 3 email addresses that you could just bash through because it can be pulled out at random. Yeah, and somebody's going to win that prize.
Yeah.
If you've already done it, you're in. If you do it, when's the cut-off date?
End of February.
So a month.
Yeah, plenty of time to do it. We'll put it out of it. It'll be on social media and things like that.
Have you left a link for that CPD?
There's a link in the description.
Wow, you've done it all.
Done it all.
Apart from tell me we were doing it.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. So he's reading.
Is it on my list?
Yeah,
is it on the list? Is it? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, we believe you. Okay, so that sounds brilliant. So that's a great prize. Thank you very much, Marshall Toughlex. Also make it possible for us to bring this live stream to you as one of our core sponsors. So thank you very much to them. So that's good.
And I've got a new product. We've got a sneak peek on from Marshall Toughlex in a bit. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
So yeah,
We've got a great sneak peek tonight as well, haven't we?
we have. But we've also got another segment coming up.
We've got another new segment.
Yeah, so at the start, obviously I said to people, think of that old American show, Home Improvement.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a section on there, and we're going to cut to it. Hopefully when people come back, they may or may not twig it. So we're going to,
Oh, okay.
we're going to go across to Rick's Tool Time.
Rick's Tool Time. Hello and welcome to Rick's Tool Time. This week I've been on the hunt for a stripper to help assist with this 6mm solar DC cable. And as luck would have it, a well-known online retailer that offers next day delivery came up trumps and brought along the Weekon tool. It's a mini solar number 3. There are a few features I was looking for when I was out there looking for a new tool. First being a depth gauge. I want to keep consistent cut lengths that help me assist with removing the outer sheathing. Secondly, I also wanted to be able to make sure that as I was stripping the cable, I wasn't going to catch them internal conductors. So a few features with the Weekon Mini Solar number 3. We have an adjustable depth which goes from 6mm to 28mm. There are 2 ranges which go from 1.5mm to 2.5mm, and on the flip side we have 4mm to 6mm. It's also ergonomic in design, so when you're holding it, it feels comfortable. And not only that, it's been safety approved by TÜV Nord. It's got German quality written all over it. There's a handy little locking mechanism here which allows you to pop it open, and just here they've snuck in a nice little cutter. To summarise, I think this is a fantastic little tool. I'm not going to be catching them internal conductors. I'm going to get stripping lengths exactly the same every time. But what does it matter what I think? What do you think? Do you own one of these? Is there another tool we need to be looking at? Till then, catch you on the flip side. Ta-da.
Rick's Tool Time.
There we go.
Brilliant.
Rick's Tool Time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So last time out we had caught off camera,
Yep.
which was pretty much what you'd made mistakes on in the past couple of weeks. We got it back again, so make sure you stay on to the end for another episode, and I think it's better than the first one. Okay, and I thought the first one was fantastic, but Rick's gone out there, he's gone out on a limb, and now we've got Rick's Tool Time. It's going to be a regular feature.
Yeah, Rick's first solo video. If anyone, well, we'll throw another prize.
Solar video.
Yeah.
Or solo video.
Yeah, it's solo video. A solo video. Yeah, so that was a single-purpose tool.
Yes.
I think we've got it somewhere. All we need to do is bring it on.
Rick said at the start that he was looking for a stripper. And that was a bit, well, I thought that was a strong start for your first segment. As you were looking for, I'm going to need some help here, Mark. I know what you've done before. You might have to kneel down for this, I'm afraid. Just have to be a little bit lower on the knees. I know you're going to say,
Getting stitched up again.
Yeah, I've done that, and I just want you to look up there, and I want you to summon
propose,
down
Mark.
the tool from above. And do you know how you summon the tool from above?
Yeah, I seem to remember that show from back in the day.
So we're going to need to tool. We're going to need to encourage it to come down. Okay, yes, that's it. So you have another go, see if it can start to move. No, it's not loud enough. Well done, it's on its way. So come on, let's see if we can get it down this time, Mark. One big more last pull at it. have it.
Stitch
Would
up.
you like? Yeah, there's plenty of
Get
them
the bag
coming.
work.
Would you like to have a little look into the bag? Ooh. I'm going to take it out of the way, so just give me a second. Up he goes. Goodbye, tool from above. Right.
Try that out, Mark. Have you done any solar work?
Not as yet, no. We're looking to get into it ourselves.
Yep.
Matthew's the driving force of that at the minute, so he would love something like this, I'm sure.
Right, so you have to undo the little catch at the side.
So is that this one here?
Yeah. Back.
Okay.
You can cut it to length.
I like it.
And then at the end, strip it. It's lined with 4 and 6 on the end.
Okay, so that's this side.
Yeah. Give it a couple of twists. Pull.
Any loose strands there? Looks pretty
No,
good
it
to
looks all right. It's
me. I like it.
looks good.
All right.
Nice little tool.
So we're going to need
Not
people
seen
to
that
sort of
before.
suggest where we think it's going to go on this wall behind me, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting some comments. We've got Stuart Cato on, who does a lot of solar, and
He
he's
does.
been looking for a solar stripper for a while.
Okay. Rick's been looking for a stripper for a while, according to his
Yeah.
intro.
And so kneel down the summons too from on. So yeah, so let's see, just let a few more come in. Solar, but you think that transition EV to solar to battery storage?
I'll be keeping my feet on the ground doing the battery storage aspect and the inverters, but yeah, I think it's the way to go. A lot of electricians are moving into that sector. There's a lot for us to learn, especially around roof structure, because that's not our expertise. But we're on that journey. We want to get involved, get in the thick of it. I think there's going to be solar on everyone's house in a few years, whether we like it or not. So having an understanding is a good thing.
So again, your business started out as you did, subcontracting, a little bit of domestic, a bit of everything now. You did the EV thing because you thought that was a great move. You're a businessman at the end of the day. Yeah, you're going for the next opportunity, and you see it like we all do, as in solar and battery. But you won't be doing the roof. We've cleared that up.
No, I won't be going on the roof. Nathan quite likes heights. He's volunteered himself, so he can go up there and do all that stuff.
Bungalows and flat roofs? Will you do a single?
I'll do a
story?
bungalow and a flat roof. I'll do that. That's happy enough on
I
that.
tell you, they're always looking niche within a niche. Yeah, it's like
Niche the niche.
Yeah. So I do solar, flat roof only. Imagine that being the flat roof specialist.
Could do. I actually ended up on a roof with Stuart Cato, actually, so he did get me up on a full height roof. Yeah.
So
Well, there was a big night out, wasn't it?
big Larry night
I ended
out.
up on a roof with Stuart Cato.
And again, another bloke that we've interviewed on telly, haven't we? We did a little one with him at one of our live feed events back in the day. So we're trying to position this on the wall behind us.
Just one bit of advice before we do that. What
Yeah,
we
we're not
hear
gonna
from
do it,
people.
but What do people think?
No, we're still on it. I think it's a winner. Yeah. Get a roofers to do the roof.
That sounds sensible.
Yeah, a lot of good people we've seen it, because you've got to take your specialism and put it in the electrical sector, innit? So, you know, you wouldn't get a plasterer in to fit a kitchen, would you? So that sort of thing, innit?
They might try it, but no, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And now suddenly we're becoming roofers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to.
do our own VAT.
And our own advertising and
Yeah.
our own marketing. So what we're saying there is then this tool here, if you did like it, is there any way I can get my hands on one?
Is it thumbs up? Well, put a thumbs up in the comments. So I have put a link in the description.
Okay.
Which it'll go to that well-known online retailer
What next day delivery?
with free next day delivery if you pay
For
a significant amount every
for
year.
undercoat or the other thing, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. And Weecon, so Weecon make a few reasonably priced strippers.
do.
The EV Ultra stripper comes from them.
Oh, it does. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And it is just, yes, Sean Dempsey, it is just for solar cables. That's got no other purpose in life apart from stripping solar cables. That's
it's
it.
just purely a stripper. That's
For
what it is.
solar cables.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only goes up to 6 mil, which
Yeah.
is bang on the right size.
Which is
It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's
Yeah.
stripped solar cables.
So if
well,
you're a
yeah.
fan of that, then that seems quite. Yeah, people seem to be thumbs up for that one. But Mark, it's not down to them. You can choose to. We know you like social media.
Yep.
You can choose to ignore the crowd, and you've got to decide if it's a great tool or a gimmick.
A gimmick. I'm gonna.
So we're working bottom left-hand corner to top right, where it's 11, which is out of 10.
Okay.
So it's amazing if it's up there, okay, and if it's down there, it's where my coffee machine should be. Where's that gone?
Where is it?
No, that's the kettle. The coffee machine's moved.
So there now,
Was it? Oh yeah, it's pretty low though. So yeah, so coffee machine's down there.
just above the Milwaukee soldering iron.
I'm gonna stick it alongside the little bolt cutters there.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Stick it not quite up with the crimper.
Ferrule crimping tool. So what are we saying? That's about, is that the 6, region of 6, middle of the road, sort of 6,
Yeah, it's the
7?
middle of the road. Yeah,
Yeah, 6 or 7, I like it.
Yeah.
We
So
like
Stuart Cato's just ordered one.
Oh, was he? So yeah. So,
There we go.
so if you want an honest
You could end up on a roof with Stuart again.
Using one of them.
Yeah, using one of them. But I think,
And I take it because it's a one tool, one. It's not a lot of money, is it?
No, I don't think so. Might be 30 quid or something.
Yeah, so that's not a lot of money, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you think solar's an opportunity? We think it is as well. We think it's where it's going next. I think if you're the sort of electrician that turns it down as an opportunity, you'll lose projects because it'll be, I want a full refurbishment, and I think they're going to class roof down, aren't they?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now it's not how many sockets you've got in the lounge. If you haven't got battery storage, it doesn't matter how many sockets you've got in the lounge, does it? That's no longer going to wow anyone, is it?
No, it's not, and we're already seeing that with our inquiries. We're getting customers coming forward asking for an EV charge point, but also wanting the solar and battery, and even rewires. They're wanting to kind of future-proof and get involved with all of this, so it is a question you're going to be asked, and if you're inviting another contractor in who does do solar,
well,
they might be taking that aspect of the work away from you.
And if I'm thinking of the cost aspect, I think the rewire cost and therefore the amount that can be made on it probably is nowhere near what the solar battery is going to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the solar systems, the end budget's quite large,
Yeah.
so it's easy to kind of blend a figure into things, and hopefully electricians can do very well for themselves.
Because you've upskilled yourself and you've got the ability to do it.
Now, Richard Brooks sent us a super chat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Well, thank you, Richard.
Because he wants that. Are you driving an EV car, Omar?
Not at the minute, no.
No? Okay. Oh, he must be putting me. He's asking me. I've got any Tesla stories. So, yeah. So that's...
Is there any Tesla stories? Well, I don't know. Did you speak to our good friend Nick, EV Nick?
Yes, I have spoken to EV Nick. He actually told me if I get nervous tonight to drop in a question about somebody crashing a car into a van.
Okay, all right. So who would that have been then? So let's go back to an old story. Maybe we could bring up the Tesla stories. Have we still got it available as an asset? No, we haven't. We've got a shake of head. So look at that. You've got away with it. We used to have our own asset. Yeah. So let's go back into an old story. There's not been many new ones recently. We'd had our most successful video ever, haven't we? We'd done. I think it.
We had a great week.
Yeah, we had a great week. Yeah. So great
week, but good.
And we were in a great mood, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then you drove into the side of my van.
Reversed slowly, I think it was the one. I just had
Right.
to make a bit of room so we could close the gate.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of room now to get down the side of my van because it sort of concaves in down in the middle of the door. And yeah, you did that because the camera didn't work on the back of your car, did it?
No, it didn't. No.
Still didn't when you parked. Who had your car off you?
Nick Ramos, yeah.
So EV Nick had your car?
Yeah.
And he took it out with a customer, didn't he? He showed him the reversing cam, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did it work?
No.
It doesn't work. Has he got it working yet?
I don't know. I have to check in.
Okay, so if you're watching tonight, EV Nick, tell us if your reversing cam, which I can tell you doesn't work.
I
It works
didn't
straight
realise
to
the
my van.
cahoots here. People on this now. That's yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, Mark won't be coming back again. Drops in that one. So.
Well, let's put it this way. Look what we've put him through.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So we see that as a massive opportunity. So, yeah, it's great. You've built a business. Anyone who knows Mark, maybe from social media, might not have stumbled across him actually as the electrician that we've seen today. They may have come across you in a different guise, because when we plunged ourselves into what effectively was a lockdown for the whole world, wasn't it? We all went into it. The one thing that you highlighted across social media was that they were letting apprentices go because obviously everyone was a little bit worried. And you decided that you thought you could help one or two people. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of happened by accident, to be fair. It was just in the local area. We get a lot of emails coming in, and a lot of business owners will tell you the same, people asking for apprenticeships. But there was a massive increase around the early parts of the first lockdowns. And yeah, it's just helping people, and the word gets around and these things spiral and build. I thought I'd step out onto social media. You're often waiting for other people to do something. I thought, well, why should I expect that of somebody else? I'll step out and try and have a go myself. And here we are now.
Yeah, you play it so down. So what we've got is all these people now need to be relocated into a job. Somebody then, you've got to make the two partnerships. You've got somebody who's underway with their training but can't complete it. Somebody who's going to think about taking someone on and can help complete the journey. You became the middle piece in this jigsaw that went through to connect them together. But it snowballed really quickly because nobody, you became, a guardian angel for apprentices, and it was quickly spread around on social media. If you're stuck, reach out to Mark Allison, and you started off Apprentice 1-to-1.
Yep.
Okay, and then that snowballed, and we've had conversations many times over the years, and this number of people you've connected to employment has just got to a ridiculous number, really. So how many people have you think roughly have you connected to a job under Apprentice 1-to-1?
It's over 3,000, but we're kind of up to 3 years now. The time just seems to slip past us all so quickly, doesn't it? So COVID now, 3 years ago.
It's a mark of you, Mark, again. So it's like, it's not to be sniffed. 3,000 people. How many? That wouldn't be 3,000 communications. Somebody would reach out to you, and that would start a conversation stream until you placed them. How many emails and messages does that equal?
A lot of it is direct messages. The Instagram community seems to be where a lot of apprentices would have been reaching out and getting in touch. And then my network on LinkedIn is what I really turbocharged, linking people together, I guess. I was calling on good friends who I knew employed lots of electricians, bigger contractors than myself, if they could help out and just take somebody in so they didn't lose their place at college. Because as you'll know, you get a very short window to get re-employed, and that's still a problem now. You'd think that it would be different through COVID, but it wasn't. There were still people being pushed out of the college environments. It was just to try and help stop that happening, really, and it's grown and spread. And as you say, I'll be tagged in maybe 10, 20 posts a day sometimes from people looking for help and also others offering job roles. So it's just joining those dots together.
Yeah, I think everyone should just take a moment there to think, when we were all very, very self-conscious, we were all locked down and we all had our own problems, all the rest, so we were even trying to start our own business at that time, weren't we? That actually you took the eyes maybe off your own business that was also suffering from the fact we're in COVID, and you looked at all these people and thought to yourself, if I don't step forward to help them, who will? And I can't blame anyone but myself if I don't, and you did. And my word, is that just remarkable from the outside looking in. It's really humbling in the electrical industry that somebody could do that. And I'm sure that was part of the reason why you won Person of the Year, along with everything else you spoke about. And you're an incredibly nice fella. But that is an amazing thing. And I don't think anyone could, go a step above that. You'll be telling me next that you'll be offering free training at your own academy you set up for free, because that's a sort of ridiculous statement that would come after the back of maybe getting 3,000 people jobs. But I'm just joking, of course, Mark.
What's next?
Yeah, we are trying to get an academy up and running at the minute where we are going to offer free training. It is a bit of a weird idea when your customer base isn't going to pay for the service that you're offering, but that's the road we're going down. That's what I've committed to. And yeah, it's exciting. For those of you who do watch my YouTube channel, the very small percentage of you will be watching this. You'll have seen that. We've shared it out there already, some of the building work we've done. And again, Matthew and Nathan and people in my team have helped do that. And people like yourselves on social media sharing that message. I go back a lot to Sam, Rick and Neil. They were the ones who first pushed this out there for other people to hear about it. So when people talk about Apprentice One-to-One, I'm very conscious it's not just me. There's Eddie Clemens as well, who you know very well. He was the first person to offer a test set to give away to an apprentice, and that kind of spiraled. Everyone started sending stuff in after he'd done that. So there's loads of other people who've done lots of little things along the way that's culminated to where we are now. It's not just me.
Yeah,
I'll just put in there, I have put a link to both the One-to-One channel and your Mark, the Sparky Allison channel in the description if you're not following Mark already.
Do your thing. Do your thing. Go over there.
Lots of comments.
Yeah.
Put comments on there,
Yeah, absolutely. Coming, because, I've led you into that. I can't believe you're doing that. I can't believe the next thing. And you highlight Eddie in there, and Eddie, lots of people highlight Eddie. People with issues maybe in their personal life. Eddie steps forward and helps them, keeps a lot of that under the radar. He did his own Lone Ranger. He's part of the people behind Safe for September. You've said he was the first person to step up.
He's mental health thing.
He does. His press-up challenge and that. He did that for 2 consecutive rips, didn't he? It's like there's another amazing person there, Eddie Clements. Yeah,
he's coming to fit as a booth out, panel board in one of the booths we've got.
And I'd imagine,
get some Guinness in.
That'd
be actually, in fact, fill the booth full of Guinness. Would be my,
he'll drink his way to the wall.
He'll find that wall eventually. But Eddie will love Eddie.
Incredible, like both of you. You mean, and even in this journey for me, I don't know about yourself, but I've met some amazing people on the way that I would have never met if I hadn't have done this thing that I'm doing now. And you and Eddie, Pegasus Electrical, Eddie, are two of the people that I think, wow, I've been blessed on this journey to be touched by these people as they do amazing things for our industry. And I hope at one time, and I said this on one of your, I think on your podcast, I hope somebody maybe down in the London area, when they're handing out things at some point, will go on to recognise what you've done, because I think often those get given out where they're not as much deserved as maybe what you've done. And I don't think I'd be prouder than I could ever be if that ever happens. That would be an amazing moment. It should happen as well.
Yeah, and to put apprentices into context, 3,000 apprentices.
And going.
But there's a lot of, there's huge employers don't achieve anywhere near that. Yeah. And they're running it with the resources they have and stuff like that. And definitely. So
there weren't 3,000 family members you placed, because obviously they want to work.
I would have employed them all myself.
Probably would have done.
Could have solved the problem.
They're all called Allinson. But you're looking to take an apprentice on yourself?
Yeah, I say I was kind of looking towards that. Matthew and Nathan are a good team together now, so we're thinking maybe getting someone alongside me, because I am still active out on the tools as much
still
as
trying to get them off the tools.
The second race wall attempt doesn't really show that, but I am still trying to keep out there. It's what I enjoy at the end of the day. I don't want to end up in an office running a business, I can leave that to Laura and I can stick with the coalface of the trade.
Yeah.
And if you are looking for an apprentice, I can help you out. One of my mates, Mark Allison, has got a thing called Apprentice One-to-One. If you reach out to him, he'll be able to put you in contact with somebody who really needs an apprenticeship. So it's worth having a look at that.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah, really good bloke.
We saw a great bit of advice today online.
Yes.
So CM Electrical, also on Instagram, who was one of our 30 under 30 winners last year.
Yeah.
Up in just outside Motherwell. And so he put on, and he's obviously recruiting apprentice, so he's asked them to send in 60-second video clips. And he sort of, some people sort of got uppity at that, but that's the way he wants to do it, and he's had a great response.
And we had this conversation. It makes logical sense to me, though, because the person you're going to employ as an apprentice is going to be a forward-facing, whether you like it or not, to a business. They're going to stand at a door, they're going to stand in a foyer to try and get into that business and then conduct themselves. So if they can't talk on camera and look straight at that camera or converse or string a sentence together for 60 seconds, maybe that is a good way of ruling people out of a job. If you're looking for a certain type of person. That's Colin Mulvaney. You've done some videos with him as well.
We have. I mean, Colin, we love Colin again.
We do love Colin.
Again, we meet people on this journey. We meet loads of people, and we went up to Motherwell to spend some time with Colin on 2 jobs. On the one we did with Philips in the new building.
You blamed him for it raining, I think, in the last caught off camera, didn't you?
I did. I blame it for rain in there. I was like, he didn't tell us. Well, it'll be sunny. And we also learned about the bandit board up there, where you're going about local marketing. Around his area, what they call bandit boards, which is basically that printed advert you get done on a bit of Fomex and you stick it on the crossroads near the traffic light.
Right.
And if you're lucky, it'll be up there for 3 months before the council come and take it down. So that's in there. And that once I spotted them driving around, they're everywhere. Around their hair salon, dog grooming.
So like Milton Keynes were on, they named the roundabouts. They're doing it themselves, aren't they, with their own business?
This is Colin Mulvaney Crossroads. It was just down the road from where we were.
Have you tried anything in your own business as random as that?
No, not really, but going back to the video, I think that's a really good thing that people can do. I try and encourage a lot of the apprentices who are looking for work to create an Instagram profile, share bits of their work, and to other electricians as well to create a YouTube channel, because it's not just about getting 400,000 subscribers. If you do put a presence out there, video content is great for marketing your own website, getting Google rank. I've seen lots of inquiries come through as a byproduct from doing YouTube, wasn't expecting it. So many EV inquiries. So if you're not doing it, it's not all about getting YouTube famous like you guys. You can really help grow and benefit your business just from doing it in a small way.
Of course you can. I tell people that all the time. It's like all those little tools to help you get up the ranking. Put in electrician in Driffield. If you're the only one who's got a YouTube channel, you're already a little bit ahead of those people, and people can see your work. It saves, people. You're almost halfway there, aren't you? People have watched a video. Oh, I like this bloke. Work looks okay. Would rather have his son on site to do it, but
And we said that before. I mean, it's that they already feel like we did. We've never met till today. It feels like we've known you forever. But it's that, if you've seen someone effectively on the telly or on YouTube, already that barrier to who's going to be knocking at the door. It could be the electrician. You open that door and you're faced with that one moment. You've had that chance already, and you've had a few minutes with them on the telly and the rest of it. And I also recommend the college connections. I've done 3 so far this year. I'm out again. I'm seeing Dave Love on Valentine's Day, so I'm going to give love to Dave Love when I go to Warrington Royal Vale College in the Manchester area.
Warrington, Gary.
Warrington, is it? Warrington.
Clues in the name.
What else? Is it Warrington? But
Yeah.
that's near Manchester, isn't it? It seemed miles when I drove there the
Have
first
that
time.
discussion when you get there.
Oh, right, is it nowhere near
Are we in Manchester? Just
I'm terrible when I...
drop us a line when you're in there, and we'll just tune in.
But one of my things is to get an Instagram. I say to everyone who's on Instagram, they'll put their hands up. Who's got their own, trainee or apprentice page? Nobody. I always say, if you store all your photographs there and you drop your phone, like lots of young people do, believe it or not, into the toilet, which was amazing when I taught. I can't believe how many people dropped it into the toilet. No cloud backup, lost all their images for a year. That could be the ones that get the job. I said, if you've already sent it to Instagram, imagine sending out a digital profile of your CV, which had a link to your Instagram page, a little mega professional.
Or even LinkedIn, actually, because LinkedIn's
I've told
a
them
good
that.
repository for stuff.
Yeah.
You can almost build a web page. It's not a web page, it's about you. And I'm amazed how many people forget it, and it's pretty easy.
And I had that at Nottingham College. I spoke to about 150 people at the same time. I recommended they go and get themselves a LinkedIn profile. I recommended they tag me in on the first post telling you they wanted work experience, and I would share it out. One person did it, which was fine, because I always say I'm talking to 1 or 2 people. I shared it out. 5 people contacted him. 1 was in the Nottingham area, and then offered him work experience. Did it in 48 hours.
That's how it goes.
It's like, well done.
Yeah,
Hats off to you.
That really is how it works, and it's something quite simple that you can do. If you're not doing it already, you really should. Every single apprenticeship role that's advertised, you'll get dozens of people applying. If you can give yourself a little edge on everybody else, then do it.
Yeah, again, I don't want to drift away from it. I say the 2-page CV that you end up building at school or college is not. You might make yours a dossier, make yours jam-packed full of photographs, witness statements, even if you can only get the photographs from jobs you done at college. And all, I said, build it so it's impossible for people not to go, well, did you see that CV? Rather than you're trying to filter through, you like, you know, gaming, you play golf at the weekend, you got 4 GCSEs, try and fill it full of great stuff. And just put people, you know, in a position where it's impossible not to interview you.
Yeah, totally. I mean, if you're giving everybody the information, they're really interested in you at the start. It's the same as you said with the YouTube videos. I've felt that going to do quotes, and people have said, I've seen your video, first off, I hope you haven't read all the comments on some of them, but it's a really good, it breaks that barrier down. You've already got somebody who's interested in using your services.
Right, you mentioned it, so we're going there. So you said comments. Now, I like it when I get Mark Allison parachuted into a problem I've got on social media. When you come thundering into the comments, I can just withdraw myself, because I find it difficult to get drawn into arguments. But you've got a strong opinion, and you're not scared to show your opinion. You're not scared to tell someone when you think they're out of order. Was that an initial reaction? Is that the Mark Allison that, you know, is walking around every day? Or is it just when you see an injustice that you think that I'm not going to let that go? Much like when you started out Apprentice 1-to-1, because nobody else stepped forward. Do you use the same sort of thought when you're tackling those difficult comments?
I try to be as real to real life on social media, I think, and we often tolerate things online that we wouldn't in the real world, and we speak in ways online that we wouldn't in the real world as well. So I will sometimes bite back and answer to people where others would just let it slide. It's not in my nature to ignore it, whether it's towards me or someone else. So I will have those discussions.
Yeah, and it's been refreshing as well, because I think there's some people out there that don't live in the real world. They live in some fantasy world that they've created on social media where they do absolutely everything like you wouldn't believe, and then the minute somebody else does something, they come firing in. And I don't think a photograph tells everything, and I think people look at pictures, especially on social media, and the first instance is, can I find something that I don't think is right, and ignore everything else? Like, to start with, the lid is off the lid is off with the main switch on. We don't know what's going on there, but let's dive in that, you know, they're X, Y, and Z. So,
My soldering, Gary.
tell us your soldering story, Gordon.
Yeah, well, you snipped a little bit out of one of the videos.
Right, so just for context, am I good at soldering?
No, you're horrendous.
So would I know what good soldering looked like?
No, well, apart from you were stood next to us when I did it.
I mean, it was a year and a half old, the footage. Yeah, it was a year and a half old. So yeah, so I've snipped out a great bit of footage. It's done millions of views, hasn't it?
It has.
Millions of views.
Yeah.
Millions of views.
Yeah.
Very successful video.
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, the contest, people are, oh, terrible at sold. That bloke can't solder. He's got a shaky hand. It's all sorts of stuff that I've got shaky hands. So that's nothing. That actually helps when you're soldering, actually, because just gets it down there. But so the video on the bit people didn't see in the shot, I followed my way of doing it, and then I followed the manufacturer's instructions.
Which one did I share?
The manufacturer's instructions, one that looks awful.
Right, is that where you look like you shorted them together?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. How many views has it done?
I think it's up to about 20 million now. And I get about 100 messages a day telling them I'm basically not very good at soldering.
And you are good at soldering, aren't you?
And I don't weigh back in, Mark. I've just got to let that one slide, because it's like, look.
Too many, a full-time job with the sounds.
I did put a pinned comment, please see the full video for the context on this, but obviously people don't read, and it's just like every morning. And what I found on, say there's 3 communities. There's the electrical community who think the world is perfect. Yep, and that's okay, we understand that. Data people, you go near an RJ45, especially a feed-through one, and even Jamie Blayton doesn't like that.
World trouble.
And it was, and then you get into trouble, or you crimp, or you untwist some wires. I mean, that's, the world could fall apart if you untwist too much of those twisted pair of wires. But wow, the soldering community, they're another level.
So they're a level up from the data.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you think, you want to step in there, Mark. Do a bit of, I'll tell you what you can do.
If I like an
go
argument,
home
let's go do it.
tonight, get your Milwaukee soldering iron out, and attach some wires to some lead tape, Put that out there as a short video, and your channel will be turbocharged.
Yeah.
It's like the secret sauce.
That's the secret sauce. It'll be there.
The more subscribers you got, the more lousy them videos have been at times, and they with comments.
Yeah.
Well, talking of torpedo, okay, yeah, Jamie, yeah, he loves an outdoor consumer unit, I see from his Instagram post today. So again, somebody else with his free opinion there.
Yeah. And we love opinions.
Yeah, we do.
But we also love it when people make mistakes, Gary, as well.
There's nobody around here makes mistakes. Certainly not me. I don't make any mistakes.
Well, I think I've seen a little sneak peek of this, Gary. I think
Are
we in line for it? So I think, are we ready for a bit of caught on camera?
No, I'm not in it this week, am I?
There is so much more to a successful video than meets the eye. Sure, we all love watching the finished product, but here at Lineside Studios, a lot goes on behind the scenes that doesn't quite make the cut. It's my job to clean up the mess, from words that don't exist to words that should. Here's what the team thought I left on the cutting room floor this week. Now, we all know that Gary loves to be at the heart of the action. Isn't that right, Joe?
You may remember from other content that we've created, that means that Gary's going to intrude as I'm doing a better take than the last one. No. Yeah.
He's like a moth to a flame, or should I say moth to a downlight? Anyway, Joe, it must get quite annoying when he's constantly intruding when he's trying to film. Is that why you've been thinking about starting that new TikTok dance trend?
This sort of thing.
That has definitely got potential. Have you got any more to show us? That is a lot better. I think the only thing we're really needing now is an outro to really bring the whole thing together.
This sort of thing.
Well, Joe, that was brilliant. I think you could really try out for Strictly with those moves. Now, we all know that Vic loves his food, but what has he been eating this week?
Eating that screwdriver. What do you have for breakfast?
Muesli.
Those tasty, those screwdrivers. What do you say?
It's nearly dinner time.
Well, at least we know he's getting enough iron, eh? Was that a mention of dinner time there, Vic? I don't think I've ever heard of such a thing at eFIXX. So other than chewing screws, has Vic got any other bad habits? Jokes aside, it was a lot of fun making that video on the caviar smoke alarms. Now you'd think that Electrician wouldn't have to look up things in the regs, especially when he's been a lecturer for 20 plus years.
Rick, before we carry out the test, it's really important that that circuit protective conductor is returned into the earth bar so it can pick up the essential that the earthing conductor is connected.
No one's perfect, but Gary really makes up for it by putting his life on the line when filming some new videos. This week he nearly got attacked by a wild animal.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Correct me up this
It's,
week.
all that worries me is it seems to get better from the first week to the second week, but we've got to try and make better mistakes in order for it to continue to improve, which is probably going to be quite easy.
No, they were all, they're all genuine.
Yes, that's one thing. I'd like to think you can.
We don't need a stage
a thing. So again, what we're doing is look. In going on your own, thank the great people that support this live stream, allowing us to bring it out twice a week. Go through those sponsors for me. Let me hold you. Just keep this one for you. Just as
well, that would be Lasico Group.
It would be, yeah.
Doncaster Cables, Loudon Palazzoli, and Marshall Tuffley.
Well, I like the way you left a nice long pause there, as if you hadn't forgotten it. I love it. It was even on the board. It was on the front page. You can't remember 4 things. I can't remember anything most of the time. Thank you very much for those great sponsors allowing us to bring the show to you fortnightly. So that's all good stuff. We've got loads of stuff to give away still. We've got prizes, have we?
We have, yeah. We're still looking for some good questions. I'll scroll back and see if we've had any questions.
Yeah, okay, so we go through those. Did we have a second super chat thanks thing? Did we? No, just the one. Sorry, I apologise. That wasn't suggested before. I thought the lights dimmed out on us. So thank you as always to Sockets for doing that for us. We haven't got any about at the minute. We've left our sockets on. Got a sticker there. We've got a hat at the top there. Got any in the cupboard? So got any sockets in? We have. Yeah, so here we are. The socket safety shields. Okay, the invention of Richard Brooke. He got the money off the Dragons and didn't take it. He didn't think Deborah Meaden's money was worth taking. Was it Theo Patheo as well?
Yeah. Not sideline, strap on Dragons Den.
No, I don't think so. That's terrifying. Richard's braver than me going in there.
Yeah,
for 2.5 minutes, though, he said he was in there about 4.5 hours, did he? So that's an incredible edit to get that down. So, yeah.
I can imagine we use Richard's products all the time, actually.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, it solves a problem, isn't it? If there's a problem out there, he solves it. So it's all good. Okay, then, so let's go thundering through those questions. You've got a prize. This is your best question. You're going to give a prize for that, Gordon. So have we seen any great questions on the way through, folks? I'd just like to apologise for Joe. He did brilliantly on the register. The only thing he didn't have on was his microphone. He's devastated back there that he hasn't got it on. Why don't you, Joe? Bring yourself in, Joe. You can talk to the camera now. Do your camera bit.
Yes, we did have a technical problem with the register. Yeah. No,
I was indeed devastated.
Who's still on?
It's still on. I mean, we can do the register again. What do we think?
If you want to do the register again, you do the register again. He's
I
desperate.
haven't heard it. I've got what I said now. Because you didn't hear it, we did have technical issues, which is why you might have seen this. But you didn't know why it came in, so that's why that came in. But I have written them down, so hopefully I have got sound. Yes, I do have sound. So we've got sockets: Matt Marine, Eng, Ant Keeping Rushton, Intrue Serve, Carl Robson, Sean Dempsey, Gavin Geaney, Dan Sparky in Training, Aaron, Early Years Learning is Fun, Stuart Cato, Billy Torrey, Paul Rooney, C47, Ollie, Terry Moore, James Kane, Richard Coquelin, Tom Bickerton, Stuart Dubois, Marky D, Chris Oswald Sparky, Merrick Akbaba, Sergio Fernandez, Liberato Del Greco, the UK Spark, Jamie Blayton on the Information Torpedo, Dave Noble, Darren Cranis, Roscoe Customs, Starburst, David Dutchman, Alan Chan, Theo Webster Electrical, DAE, and Craig Buist. Do you want to do prizes now as well?
We can do, yeah. Do a time. You're on a roll.
Yeah, God, that was brilliant. Well done. And you shouted it into the mic this time like it was on.
It was on. Hopefully, anyway. So we've got the GT time. So Mark's time was 4 minutes and 6 seconds, and the winner with 4 minutes exactly was Alan Chan. So well done to you, Alan. If you go to the link in the description, get involved tab, fill out the form there, and we'll get your prize out to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, right. We've had some postal issues. We've had some angry viewers coming in. We've gone back through. We're looking through receipts and things that were sent out. We sent everything out recorded post, don't we? So it's a bit disappointing when certain persons suggested they had a few things that had never arrived when we sent them all recorded. So yeah, we don't know what's going on there.
Big shout out Joe there for his caught on camera, because that's his solo piece now.
Just brilliant.
And the register there, reading those live. And obviously, for anyone who doesn't know Joe, for years Joe struggled with a stammer.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, coming out of lockdown, and to see that being there,
immensely proud, aren't we?
Yeah, that's a huge, a huge. We all try and push ourselves forward here at eFIXX, and that's a one. So
well done, Dad.
Yeah.
Proud Dad moment.
Yeah, I think I'll be messing up some lines next week to show you how it's really done.
It's good, and it's great, and so we've all got our own segments now. We've got all things, so we've still got some things to do, because we've been fumbling around with test equipment, haven't we, and doing our own little.
Oh yes,
is it on the list? Is it on the list?
Yes,
it's on the list. Okay, we've gone all fancy now. We have a list that we don't read, which is really good. So we have to try and memorise our list. So yeah, we got some tools from people that you quite like, don't you?
I love a bit of test instruments.
Solutions, yeah. So tell us your relationship with them, because we absolutely loved Mark when he came over. We obviously had Steve. Steve did a great video with me. Mark,
he's actually nearly exactly half your time.
All right, okay. Shall we have a little look? So he's the loveliest bloke in the world, Mark Hodgson there, just down the bottom there. Look at that, fantastic. Yeah, what a gentleman. What an absolute gentleman. So, supporters of Apprentice 1-to-1?
Yeah, right from the start again, they picked up on it very early, sent in lots and lots of gear to give out to apprentices, lock-off kits, test instruments, the works.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. I went to a college this week, a Walsall College. So look at this.
It's got to be pink. That's a no-brainer. I'm only joining the ECA if they get pink polo shirts.
Okay, brilliant. So went to Walsall College. I took a board in there that had to scan a QR code on there. Okay, that scanning the QR code obviously gives TIS the nod that those people are interacting with them. And just by all miracles of miracles, a table full of test instruments turned up today, didn't it? It was out on LinkedIn. Yeah, so hats off to Steve, I think was in there doing the post, but Steve and Mark, hats off to them, because they are super supporting the future of the electrical industry, much like yourself. Which meant we got to have a play around with something in a pouch within a pouch, which I love a pouch. Two pouches are nice, two pouches.
Got excited when you saw two pouches with a sort of sub pouch on the front as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Little sub pouch, I love it. So 2.5 pouches. Shall we go and see what we thought of test instrument solutions when we were playing around earlier today?
It's time for another sneak peek, and we've been sent an absolute treat from our friends at TIS, a whole box full of kits. But obviously when a box turns up, flies descend on it like a light And you think you found something pretty cool, Gary?
I've not just found something pretty cool, I found 2 pouches, and you know how much I love a pouch within a pouch, and we've got a voltage tester here, the 859, but it's not just any voltage tester, also comes complete on the front here with a proving unit, so you've got all your bases covered.
Yeah, and obviously when you're testing, obviously you've got to take precautions. Obviously the voltage tester is a key part of it, but things can still go wrong. So I'm wearing the Addresses smart shirt, so if Gary passes an electric shock onto me, somebody will be notified. I've got a hat on, because it is cold in here. You've got a hat on, TRS bobble hats.
Yeah.
And I've also got this emergency device here that some people call a sweeping brush, but I can push Gary away from the live parts should an accident occur.
Yeah, I've got more chance of being pushed in with that broom than I've been pushed away. So first of all, like any good instructional video, which is probably won't be by the end of it, we're going to show you that we're going to use the proving unit to check this first and then see some of the great features. It's got some great features. Do you want to pick the hand cam up and we'll go over here? Here we go. So we're going to separate it. We're going to use our proving unit. Always difficult to obviously align those holes. So I'm going to just pop them into here in order
So that's in the pouch.
It is in a pouch, which is what we like. So I just got to make sure, first of all, I get those in. I don't want to take it out. It can be done in there. It's just got a little bit of wiggling around. So I've got all my lamps illuminated. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So I'm ready to go, but I will need to check it again, obviously, at the end. So let's do that simple, first of all, test. Let's use it as a voltage indicator. But look at this. We see these so often on YouTube videos or in Instagram where people have a shroud around here and they take it off, forget to put it on. It will not comply to GS38 because obviously those tips will be greatly exposed than 4mm, but because these are sprung loaded, we're only going to get,
right back. You can pull them right back, can't you?
Oh, look at that. But that would be obviously contravening GS38, so we just want that sprung loaded action.
Terminal,
oh yeah, you're going to not be able to get anywhere near it. So we could pull it all the way back, but obviously we wouldn't want to be able to touch any of those parts. But look, when we press it against something, I can feel that. You can see a little dent in my finger. But of course, that's the only contact, no live parts exposed. So we're going to prove, first of all, we have a voltage. So I'm going to go on to the least dangerous conductor first. So let's go on to the earth bar for this one. Just down
remember
here.
Rick weren't wide in here, Gary,
Oh,
so
no,
it could be any combination.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if I can just get in there, so I can just push it around there, you'll see that we get our voltage up here. So we go there. And what you might not be able to tell, as well as that voltage, is that I've got a vibration. Let's listen.
Oh, I thought that was your phone going off, Gary.
No, that's a vibration to tell me also, not just a visual indicator, but actually one that I can feel.
We've also got a display in there as well, so we can see we're at, 238 volts.
So off we come, so off my line and off there. So now it would be a case, obviously, if I was finished there, that I'd have to go back and reprove the tester. But we're going to carry on. We're going to use some of its other functions. Next, we've got an RCD tester. So this is really good maybe for that fault finding. You've got the one tester and you're having a probe around. You just want to prove that the RCD is functional. And does it work with a resistor from line to earth? Is that how it works?
It is, yes. There's a 6k ohm resistor in there, so it is actually going to pass a real 30 milliamps current down to earth. So let's just go in.
So we're going on the earth bar. And I'm going to try and keep out of the way of the camera. So here we go. So onto the, what I'll do first of all is I'll get that voltage. So I've picked up a voltage. I can feel it vibrating. I'll press my RCD test button. And you can see that obviously we've tripped the RCD out. So that's part of that functional testing. So obviously that's proved that's operated it with that resistor in circuit when we're connecting. Just press that RCD button there. Next up, non-voltage contactor here. So we can press this against our live parts to work out whether they are live.
Looks like a torch. That,
yeah, we've also got a torch.
Yeah. First, hold on, just push it.
Yeah,
that looks like a torch, Gary.
Yeah, it's got a torch as well.
Yeah.
So also, so we want to know whether something's live. Obviously, we can go in, but of course, this can be a bit in the way, can't it? So obviously, I've got that as a problem. I could perhaps come up from the side. You can use it like this, but let's just unscrew this one. Let's move it out of the way. Just make life a little bit easier. Okay, so we come off with this one, and then we can press this. We can come in there and we can see, yes, that is live. Okay.
Right. Well, hold on, Gary. I've got a heater cable down here. I'm just going to try that then, just to prove it. Press and hold it.
Yeah, press and hold. Yeah, we got it on.
Oh, yeah. It's getting warm now as well.
Yeah, for the first time, I'm going to take this hat off. And there we go. We've got our usual continuity tester as well, so we can obviously do that little beep through if we're trying to find out whether a solar cable is labelled at both ends, a video which Rick did, so we could come in and obviously do our continuity. So we got that buzz as well to say that we've actually got a continuity on as well. What a lovely tactile piece of kit that is. Fantastic.
And looks like you can take the lead off. You replace the lead.
Yep. Okay, so we can pull this one out. Yep. Okay, so we've gone away with that lead as well.
So they came up with a good hack in that one where you used the wandering lead, and everyone obviously told them all that advice. So as we know, put the wrong answer on YouTube, and you get 20,000 people telling you the right one.
Okay, but that is ergonomically friendly. So that's a nice gripping action there. You know, that is built for the hand. You see how the thumb sits nicely into there. Nice gripping action. Obviously, we can take the pieces off as well. I love it. But we're going to have to reprove it again if we were actually using it for that voltage test that we did earlier on.
If you haven't seen, check out our videos were made on safe isolation in partnership with TIS.
I think you can tell from my enthusiasm during that video, I quite liked that test instrument, didn't I?
It went beyond the pouch.
Yes, well, double pouch and a half pouch, and I mean in the hand, and that vibration, I've never had that before. You actually get that, you see them go up, you get that vibration. You haven't got that sort of ringing out massive noise, but you're getting that clue in your area, the person that does want to know it's actually live. So, and you didn't have to come in contact with your shirt, so we managed to keep me alive. I noticed we were worried about the bloke touching it. You were standing well back there with the camera.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, that's you never know, do you? I've seen what happens sometimes around here.
Self-present. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's usually Rick, though, isn't it? Yeah, hand your 2 battery leads both connected.
You blew up, Doctor. You blew. You blew up. He did.
He did. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, 2 bare ends. Yeah. Both lugged as well. Where they just great connection.
5 kilowatt battery on the other end. It's still sat behind them there now. We're powdered up this week. So it was.
That was breathtaking. Because I stood there and it was like that was like wow. Time stood still, didn't it? So yeah. So your shirt, still loving it?
Yeah, it's good actually. I mean, a lot of people took that video quite well. Obviously, lone workers, people said, you shouldn't work alone, and lots of people do work alone. And even if you're on a site together, you can be separated in an area where it's difficult to know what's going on.
Care of duty, Mark. That's your responsibility. Another one you don't realise when you start employing people. Not only you got to pay their mortgage and you're related to them. Obviously, you've got a care of duty as well. Obviously, if something tragically happened to them, you would know their close community of friends because they're yours as well.
Exactly that. You've got to be on the ball with things like that. Site safety is critical.
Yeah, and again, I'm not suggesting it's with you, but that's one thing when there's a familiarity with somebody you got, maybe like when you were working with your brother or whatever, your cousin. Yeah, they're the sort of things that you can't let slip just because you happen to be a family, friend. You are effectively employing them, you are paying them, and you are, duty holder for their safety, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, with us at home, when it's put the pots away, pick the stuff off of the floor, when you're at work telling somebody, put your ear defenders on, put your glasses on. Originally, the attitude was, I'm not listening to you, because I don't listen to you at home either, but it's a totally different environment. But you've got to get that over to people that you're responsible for their safety, and in the long term, if you don't do these things, it'll be you that's sorry, more likely than me ending up in court for any kind of incident. It's your own safety at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, it's one. And we've got a sort of a family feel here, haven't we? Community family feel here, and it's like we all now wear our boots permanently, don't we? And we may have been.
We've got new boots, Gary.
Now I sort of segued into that one nicely, didn't I? So there's 4 of us up here. How many new sets of boots did we order?
4.
And how many new sets of boots have we got?
3.
Which unlucky member of the team hasn't got his boots after a month?
Well, you haven't got yours.
No, I haven't. No. So what's wrong with my boots?
Well, you ordered vegan leather, or as we used to call it, plastic.
Yeah. Okay. So we couldn't believe that, could you? Yeah, vegan boots because they're made of plastic. It's still not here, are they?
No.
And
well,
because they're my boots, no one's bothered to chase them up, though, have they?
I think we tried last week, but after 3 rings, they didn't answer. So we just sort of just let them,
I've still got 2 tie wraps in that one, holding it. Let's have a look at my boots. Let's have a look at these bad boys. Let's have a look. Bring on the anchor. Look at that. A couple of tie wraps holding that one on, and look, just about holding on in there. Let's have a look at your boots. Yeah.
Yeah. These are great. These are Magnum boots. Yeah. Although they look like they've got lace, they're actually got a side. They've got a cheek down the side.
Yeah. Magnum boots. Yeah.
Sharp.
Look like a couple of ice creams on your feet. Yeah.
They keep you really warm as well. Yeah. Rick noticed the first day he had them on. He says, "My feet aren't cold anymore."
Like walking on pillows.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
So
yeah.
So there we go. So I'm sure we'll know when your vegan leather, something we used to call plastic, turns up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the plastic on, your feet will be sweating like hell. Breathable leather.
I won't be held on with 2 tie wraps, though, will it? So it'll be all good. These are super comfortable, though. I'm going to leave these in the van because there's nothing worse than spending 12
in the van.
I'll spend 8 or 10 hours in a college standing up. You want to be standing up in something decent on your feet. So. Yeah, it's all good. And we're back out again, like I said, on Valentine's Day when we go down to Warrington, which is nowhere near Manchester, by all accounts.
See Day of Love.
No, they're actually orange. They do, yeah.
We hope so,
'Cause
yeah.
I wear orange socks on the live stream because my son's a massive Luton Town fan, but these are about on the limit now of keep wearing them. I only wear them for the live stream as well on that day. So I've been trying to keep them back for that. So I'll keep the continuity of my
They're
orange
vegan
socks.
leather as well.
Well, the orange socks,
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely not made of any, things like that. Have you got any great comments as we drift into what we
We've got
used
lots
to
of good comments.
Yeah.
I've got somebody who win a prize. Prize tonight we'll send to RB. Yeah, so that's AARBEE.
All right.
So because during lockdown he lost his apprenticeship and lost his place at college. So hopefully we can. Hopefully things have turned around there. If not, you should be getting in touch with Mark.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, which is a shame. Is it better out there now? Are you finding you're now becoming the person that employers go to? Now we reversed it maybe. Is it now the employers come to you because you can place people and because you've got a great network, or is it still the other way around where you're trying to get apprentices or former apprentices into jobs?
It's more 50-50, to be
Right.
fair. And I am trying to work on something alongside industry, so the organisations like NET and TESP, where they're going to try and step in and do a few bits and pieces, as well as some pilots organised around that. But yeah, whereas before it was mainly apprentices seeking help, there now is that 50-50 aspect. And there's still questions coming from employees who've taken their first apprentices and they're starting to struggle with the costs of that. So there's those challenges, so it's trying to help them as well, getting a bit of extra support in their local area from other contractors who've already done it. So linking those employers with each other to get a bit of guidance and advice.
So,
Known to you.
right, okay. So obviously the name's not really going to help me, is it? Even if it was their actual, but that's, yeah. I've had some great people. I don't know whether that could be a Beale or someone like that I taught towards the end. Lovely kid. Oh, right. Oh, Ryan. Oh, right. Hello, Ryan. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's gut-wrenching, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll reach out. You go onto Instagram, reach out to Apprentice 1-to-1, look up for Mark Allison, so reach out to him and we'll see. Yeah, my phone number hasn't changed, but I'm not sure as a student you ever had it. So again, reach out to me on Instagram as well. I can pass you my phone number now. I don't work there. Can't guarantee I can help you. Mark's probably a better person to help you than me. You know, I'm more likely just to catch up with you, Ryan. So yeah. Yeah, again, you're going to leave your details in there as well, so maybe we can drop my phone number in the letter we send out and that as well for Ryan, yeah, when that goes out. Okay, mate, so yeah, hopefully we can reconnect, see what we can do to try and get you over the line. So
People said you wouldn't have seen hats at Tresham back in the day.
No, you wouldn't. No, you can wait. Yeah, it's just like, yeah.
The lax health and safety there, Gary, was it?
No, just again, yeah. I always used to say to learners when they got to know me, I could never have taught myself because I just was a complete lunatic and I wouldn't accept it as a teacher. I'd like to think that anyone, 95% of people I taught, by the time they got past past Christmas of their first year, would say that the bloke that taught them then was different than the bloke they met in September, because you can only get softer, you can't get harder. I started off really hard and then sort of mellowed a bit. And I would say anyone who was in the second and third year built up a rapport with me probably said that, yeah, Gaz was all right.
We're fourth year, Rick, haven't we? We haven't got much of a rapport yet.
I didn't say it was easy to get on with. I never said that. I didn't say it was going to. I never told him when I joined this process that it was going to be a smooth ride of a roller coaster. Love a drama, do I? Yeah, so I can get myself stressed out. So just tell me about the free training academy. Let's say I needed something. How do I get through the front door to get your help in a training aspect?
So at the minute, we're still putting it together. So there's people coming forward to help me again. There's Dan from DMH who's coming to put help put a solar roof up and battery storage. Yeah. So we kind of want to help. We don't want to compete with training because it's really difficult for them already. So there's lots of training centres out there who are having a hard time funding themselves. So I don't want to set something up that will take students and funding away from them. So it's more to support people with additional training around their apprenticeship. So getting some experience on products that are out in the marketplace to do with solar, battery storage, using some of the latest distribution boards and equipment that are out there that they're maybe not going to see in a college environment or with their employers. Because a big problem is apprentices don't get the wide range of experience they need to get through their training anymore. It very much is specific job roles. They'll go and work in a commercial environment or they'll be working in domestic, and there's bits they miss out. So to try and fill those gaps up, offer a bit of online stuff like what you do, but also coming in and working around people like Eddie, people like Dan, and getting that expertise from them that they've got out in the workplace.
Okay, and when are you expecting the first people to come thundering through that door?
Soon, very, very soon. So weeks, hopefully, rather than months. It's been a long time, but this is something that we're working on alongside the day job. We don't have a team of people in there doing all of this. So we do have other trainers who are working with us. So there's Humber Electrical Training who are quite local to us, who do wiring regulations and 2391.
Yep.
They've offered to do bits of free training for people
Wow.
who've had difficulties in their apprenticeships and retrainee routes in particular, where they've maybe not had all aspects of what they were expecting delivered.
Right.
So we're trying to help a few people with things like that as well. And there's other training centres who've come forward offering the same. But yeah, we want to get people in doing it, but it is the aspect to do with all the documentation and insurances you need for that. You'll have appreciated that when you were in training, you need to have your policies in place. And I'm speaking with Craig about that because he's someone who is a guiding influence of Apprentice 1-to-1 as well. So he's a real expert, obviously, and I'm going to take his lead when we're in a position to do that. We need to get the finish on the build still.
All right, okay, so it sounds incredibly interesting. Again, I'm sure if you do an evening with and you want to do a few people to come along for a chat, we'd turn up, wouldn't we, for an evening with? Gordon, so back in the room?
Yeah, no, it's just someone said you took a, obviously don't go, just bring that comment in.
Yeah, well, let's filter it first. Does it need, Rick's got his hand in his head. Yeah, what's this one? Am I going to be able to read it? What's
fiver.
This? Five, what? Oh yeah. So do you want that story?
Yeah.
So I'm a really fun person, okay, I am, and that's hard because you're saying it about yourself, but obviously when you start out with me, it's going to be a very difficult process. First time I met Marcus, popcorn time, first time I met Marcus, my good mate Marcus, who does the live streams with us, does he 12 times a year. We've done one already in St Albans. We go to Doncaster Cables on the 27th of this month. We go to Doncaster Cables, do a live stream for apprentices. The first time I met him for less than 60 seconds. Mm-hmm. He turned up on day one late, walked through the door. I suggested a few words, and one of them would have been, if you haven't got a pen. He went back through the door and then used the verbal way to communicate with me as he left the building and went off and did motor vehicle. So I spent less, I didn't know it at the time because obviously I wouldn't remember anyone for that amount of time. So I'm quite a difficult person to get on. But through the years, we had like competitions to sort of generate money. Okay, so this money was held by the staff. Okay, we'd hold this stuff. So there was lots of great ways in which we did this. When we first started out, we had a thing where if you had the best attendance, the college paid a certain amount of money for that group won a prize in cash. Okay, in hard pound notes. So very competitive person. Anyone knows me? Well, we crushed that. I think that was three times a year. That prize, well, we added it, and it wasn't fiddled. People just turned up because we were going to win it. We were doing like 99.8% attendance, and the person didn't attend. Unfortunately, a granddad had passed away. Someone had to go to a funeral. That was allowed. So we won all of those. Then we collected all that money together, and then obviously everybody was 18. I just want to say. Everybody was 18, and we didn't go to the pub that I played pool for, where I knew the landlady and landlord very well. Okay, let's not suggest we went there. So we used to pool this money together, and obviously we'd go to this establishment and we'd start drinking beverages. Okay, normally around the Christmas and the summer seasons, we'd do it with this prize money. Lecturers would put a load of money in as well, so we'd have it all behind the bar, and that was good fun. So that started off this journey, and then we introduced sort of a system where we had a league table, and if you were bottom of the league table, you had to go to this drinking establishment. Remember, if the Daily Mail had got hold of this story, we would have been in trouble because we've now got, it gets worse. So we've got people in and around the age of drinking, and then what we did was we had a league table at work where the bottom of the league table had to go on the seasonal drinking event wearing female clothing. So not only have we now got people that are probably not quite 18, but they're now also wearing ladies' clothing going out drinking with us. So that was good fun. We took a few home in different states of a fair, I would suggest, on that. But this started a process then. So every year we were trying to think of ways, because that ended then, the winning the money thing ended. So we had to think of different ways to earn money. So I suggested that we should all wear hard hats all year round, but they're not very comfortable. So wear bump caps. So we got the college to buy a load of bump caps, and then we sold them for £5 each, and we kept the £5 each, and we went out on the drink with that. Then there was locker money. You had to buy a locker, and it was something like, I think it was £5 for the locker and £5 for the key deposit. We never gave any of the key deposits back. That went into the pot. So the pots get bigger and bigger every year. So we get just accumulating more and more money in order to get through. What other scams were we? had loads of scams like that. Yeah. So and we used to take them out. Drinking. I didn't suggest alcoholic beverages. We just went out drinking. So it was good fun. That's where the £5 hats came from.
I'm sure HMLC will be playing this back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then another one. We got given from the EAL their textbook. They gave us their textbook to hand out.
You sold them.
We kept the money. We didn't spend it ourselves. It cost us a fortune when we went out. We used to leave our bank cards behind the bar and everything. It was not a cheap event, but part of it was cushioned by that. We had some good time. But it was like a small window. It was probably a 4 or 5 year window when we could get away with that, and then we couldn't again. So mostly because, we had some issues.
So now that's how you run a training establishment, Mark.
That's what we need to be doing.
Now,
yeah,
so.
start a Ponzi scheme with the sounds of it.
I wish. We had some. I mean, I had some great learners, had some great times, and all the rest of it. And it's just it's good. But
Sure, I'd like to just point out it was way before he started teaching.
Sure, promising, yeah. Joe was. I would 100% let that. Oh, look at the camera, Joe. Joe was not involved in this at all. He never worked with me at all when I was doing this. He didn't. No, it was me and the legend that was Tom Sullivan, because Tom liked to drink. He used to bring beers in for his adults at the different stages and all the rest of it. It was just an extension of that. But we could get, I don't say we get away with it then, but you couldn't do it now. So if you did something wrong now in a classroom.
Now.
Yeah, but you do something wrong in a classroom now, someone's videoed you.
Yeah.
You drop a moment, someone's going to have it on phone, and that's it. You've had it. Your career's gone. Okay, because you've probably used a moment that would have been acceptable. It isn't acceptable in a different area. And that's a shame, really, because I'm sure there's lecturers up and down the country thought they were being funny at some point and got massively caught out recently. So, yeah.
There you go. Mrs. Hare saying that's where you were.
Yeah. She knew what I was up to. It was good. We had some great times. Oh, some great photographs. We like that.
Bomb shop here.
Yeah, was that it?
We're on.
Oh, we got to go. So, thank you.
An hour 40.
Oh, we really? It's gone quick. Thank you very much. We've done the end of this live stream. We've had the great, legendary Mark Allison. Hopefully you appreciate him as much as we do, and as much as the great people at Wago did when he got nominated as Person of the Year. That's up for grabs again, isn't it? We're going to be out at the end of March with this year's awards. We will be identifying some fantastic, 30 under 30 winners, of which Matthew was one this time, and you've reiterated that, again, what a great person to win that award.
Get Matthew back next time.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously there's a line being put on the board.
Yeah, we could do. And we'll be back again in a couple of weeks' time in order to do a live stream. Have we got any special guests that you can remember that are coming?
Big T.
Big T. So we've got EV Blocks is coming in. And when we say Big T, when you see him, he is the size of a door in a doll's house, but he's the size of that door when you get in there. If you think Mark was a little bit shorter in leg than most, Big T would stand, you'd hover over the top of the boy. You'd impose yourself on him. So Big T's joined us. He's waited for about 6 months to come on, isn't he? So we'll be delving into him.
And then we've got, coming up soon, not quite confirmed on the date yet, is Basic. So we're looking at cables.
Right, okay.
But,
is that on the live stream?
Yeah, Basic.
Ooh, SY Flex, get it in the comments now. Can we use it?
We've got MK coming in in
Okay.
a few weeks, talk about connected power.
We're not allowed to talk about that.
No, we're not allowed to talk about that until then. But,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So lots of exciting stuff. As always, thank you very much for joining us on live stream. Thank you for spending an hour and 40 minutes of your time with us, whether you watched it on catch-up or whether you watched it live. And I'm sure you have a deep appreciation, like the team at eFIXX does, for Mark Allison. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I've loved it.